Raul helped build this organization with the understanding that the diversity of this community, as distinct as the bogedas of the Bronx, as beautiful as the blossoms of Miami, and as unique as the breakfast tacos here in San Antonio, is your strength.
Okay, perhaps that is their strength, but speaking appears to not be hers. That was just terrible. That's Jill Biden, of course, First Lady, hardly the worst person in the country, but apparently someone who could use a little bit of sensitivity training, a little bit of education about, not comparing entire communities of people to food. What a bogeda is, I don't know. I've always been a fan of bogeda cats. I follow a few Instagram accounts of them. But anyway, that was her trying to put a spotlight on, this progressive organization. So that's fine. And look, she's not the president. Let's be clear about that. But that certainly doesn't look good. And I don't think it does a lot to reassure people, whether they're Latinx or otherwise, that this administration is like really seriously considering them and their concerns when this appears to be the best they can do rhetorically. Jessica, what do you think?
Yeah, of course, intention is more important than your effect, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But still, people should be held accountable for the things that they say. And bogedas, I'm sorry, is unforgivable. It reminds me when Andrew Yang was running and he's in like the nicest grocery store and he's like, I'm here in this bodega. And it's like, dude, you're running for mayor of New York City. You need to know what a proper bodega is. But it's like, tell me you've never lived in a diverse community without telling me you've never lived in a diverse community. I mean, to point to tacos and bodegas and flowers, like there are actually people in those communities and the people have culture and they have perspectives and their own language and their own music. And yeah, the food is good, but let's talk about the people and how great it is being in a community of diverse people. But of course, that's not what she's going to talk about here. And it doesn't, I don't forget that she's married to a guy that was really calling for segregation in the late 70s. Like I pulled a quote from Joe Biden where he said, unless we do something about this being segregation, my children are going to grow up in a jungle, the jungle being a racial jungle. Like she married that guy. Like, yes, times have changed, Biden has changed, but maybe we should run candidates who at that point in time were fighting to end segregation, or maybe candidates who weren't even around then.
I had forgotten that quote, but I love that he says it'll be a jungle. Oh, sorry, I don't mean a literal one. I mean a racial jungle. That's not better. You insane backwards racist.
He didn't think about the tacos though. He should have thought about the tacos.
Look, food obviously is an important part of culture. It's a part of, the cultural contributions of a variety of different groups. That doesn't mean you should be in the habit of casually comparing people to their food. I'm part Italian, don't call me a spicy meatball. You can say that you enjoy Italian food. I'm not manicotti, okay? I'm a man, not manicotti. And that's, I think, a minimum bar for speaking about people. Don't compare people's culture to food. Don't compare people's skin color to food. People are people and food is food. With the way American capitalism is going, I don't doubt that at some point people will be food. We will be forced to consume each other, but we're not there yet and let's act like it. Now, in response to those comments, the National Association of Hispanic Journalists put out a statement encouraging Flotus and her communications team to take time to better understand the complexities of our people and communities. We are not tacos. Our heritage as Latinos is shaped by various diasporas, cultures, and food traditions. Do not reduce us to stereotypes. Do not force people who might otherwise be allies of yours to have to state, we are not tacos. That's a bad point in a presidency that already wasn't going well. And it opens you up to attacks from the other side too. So Representative Andy Biggs, a Republican, tweeted, Jill Biden says Hispanics are as unique as tacos and calls bodegas bogedas. No wonder Hispanics are fleeing the Democratic Party. And look, I think there's a natural impulse that even I feel to say, well, I don't think Representative Andy Biggs had a big problem with Donald Trump's I love Hispanics tweet about taco bowls and all that. But at least in that case, Trump was just weirdly making it about taco bowls. He didn't literally say that people are taco bowls. Don't be worse than Trump would be my advice. And look, she's put out an apology through an intermediary saying the First Lady apologizes that her words conveyed anything but pure admiration and love for the Latino community. And okay, you can do that, and maybe that'll repair a little bit of the damage, but is what the Biden administration needs right now damage control for new damage? They've got enough on their plate already.
Yeah, even the speechwriter here, if there was a speechwriter, which I assume there was, even they didn't do their due diligence here. I think a better apology would have just been like Jill Biden reading the definition of a bodega in Merriam-Webster, like just holding up the dictionary and reading it aloud. Anything, even her just like making a video, posting it to social media, addressing it directly as the person who made the statements. The lack of accountability here and the ability for politicians to be accountable to the public through intermediaries is a huge problem. This is supposed to be a democracy. We elected President Biden. This is his wife. She's the First Lady. She should address this herself. And having these intermediaries just keeps them more disconnected from the public, which they're supposed to serve.
Yeah, look, maybe she will. Maybe they're planning to have her say something, or maybe they're worried that were she to come out, like unless it's very tightly scripted and run past some people, assuming that there is diversity in the room of her speechwriters, that maybe she would make it worse somehow. I don't know. She also, it's not like she, constantly gives public appearances, but I would say maybe you could pack her schedule a little bit in response to this, because it certainly ain't helping. For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.